We love how they hate each other, but we love it even more when they team up. Welcome to WatchMojo.com, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 good guy, bad guy team-ups in movies. For this list, we're looking at the most notable Nemesis team-ups in film.
You think you alone were loved of Mother? You had her tricks, but I had her trust.
Some may not be traditional good guys or bad guys per se, but rather characters who had some sort of conflict with each other in the past, but are now working together to accomplish a shared goal. Since this tends to be a major plot point in a lot of these movies, consider this your spoiler alert.
Want to ring the bell?
All right. Ding, ding.
Number 10. Thor and Loki, Thor: The Dark World.
This is so unlike you, brother. So clandestine.
Even though they don't share DNA, these two characters grew up as brothers, and Loki always resented the kind of attention Thor received.
I thought you liked tricks.
Despite the bad blood between them, when their mother is killed by Malekith, they reluctantly work together, setting their differences aside. Sorta. They leave Asgard against Odin's will, so that Thor can save Jane from an ancient power that threatens the realms. In return, Loki can avenge his surrogate mother.
She wouldn't want us to fight.
Well, she wouldn't exactly be shocked.
But when Loki is fatally injured, there's a touching moment between him and Thor. It's because of this display of brotherly love that this team-up is interesting. It shows that they do care for each other beneath all the bitterness.
I'll tell Father what you did here today.
I didn't do it for him.
Number 9. Royce and Predator, Predators.
You're being hunted.
Despite the language barrier between this human and alien, Royce and Predator are able to come to an understanding. In exchange for a one-way trip on a spaceship to Earth, Royce will free Predator from his chains.
I want off this planet. You understand me? I'll cut you down.
It's a deal that Predator decides to honor, because he'd rather fight the bigger, badder Predator who put him in chains to begin with. It's momentous because it's the first time that a Predator spares a human in favor of killing its own kind. Too bad he ends up getting his head sliced off, and the ship gets blown to smithereens. But at least we saw the beginnings of interspecies diplomacy. It's a step in the right direction.
I needed to know who we were up against. Now I do.
Number 8. Frank Abagnale and Carl Hanratty. Catch Me If You Can.
How do you know I'll come back?
Look, Frank, nobody's chasing you.
A chase between FBI agent Carl and teen conman Frank turns into an unlikely partnership and friendship here, in a film inspired by true events.
The truth is, I knew it was you. Now, maybe I didn't get the cuffs on you, but I knew.
Oh, people only know what you tell them, Carl.
After Carl investigates him for years, once Frank is in prison, these two characters team up to put Frank's expertise in forging checks to use.
How's your daughter? What was her name?
Grace. What? I don't know. She lives with her mother in Chicago. I don't get to see her much.
Sadly, they both suffer from a void left behind after their families were torn apart by divorce and remarriages. But while working together, they develop a bond that fills that void, gives Frank the courage to stop living in his world of lies, and shows that true friends can be found in the most unexpected places.
I don't understand.
Sure you do. Sometimes it's easier living the lie.
Number 7. Godzilla, Mothra, and Rodan, Ghidorah, the three-headed monster.
このままでは地球は滅亡です。キングギドラのために。
The Godzilla franchise constantly pits fierce monsters against each other, but when they join forces, they become quite the formidable team. In the 5th film installment, Tokyo is under attack by Ghidorah, a three-headed, two-tailed, gravity beam-breathing dragon, on the very same day that Godzilla and Rodan appear. Talk about bad luck. Mothra is summoned to save the Earth, and she pleads for Godzilla and Rodan to fight with her against the dragon. But the two are perfectly happy to exchange blows with one another, until they see Mothra attack Ghidorah on her own. they ultimately put their grudges aside and save the day by becoming a badass dragon-slaying team. Well, for now.
さようなら皆さん。私たちはインパクト島に戻ります。さようなら。さようなら。
Number 6. Tuco and Blondie, the good, the bad, and the ugly.
Such ingratitude after all the times I've saved your life.
In this gunslinging classic spaghetti western, Tuco and Blondie start off on the wrong foot. This only gets worse when Blondie turns his back on their first partnership, which involved making money over and over again off of Tuco's bounty.
You're the son of 1,000 fathers, all bastards like you. And your mother, she's you bastard!
A great deal of antagonism is born out of this incident, but it's put aside in favor of locating $200,000 in gold, of which only Blondie knows the exact location. So they form a shaky new alliance to prevent Angel Eyes from finding the treasure first.
I'm very happy you're working with me, and we're together again. I get dressed, I kill him, be right back.
Still, what makes this team so fascinating is that they never really trust each other, but still mostly care for each other. Well, if you can call it that.
So that's why you came to Tuco. It doesn't matter. I'll kill them all.
Number 5. James Bond and Jaws, Moonraker.
Do you know him?
Not socially. His name's Jaws. He kills people.
In this film, Bond and Jaws, a henchman who doesn't know how to die, are trying to kill each other once again. But this time, if Jaws wants a chance to live, he'll have to put his goal of killing Bond on hold to stop his employer Drax from hitting reboot on planet Earth. So the huge killing machine switches sides, teaming up with 007 to eliminate Drax and send him into space.
Desolated, Mr. Bond.
Heartbroken, Mr. Drax.
This 180 shows that a Bond villain can act for the greater good, and that Bond is smooth enough to make a bad guy do good things.
Jaws? We can't disengage. The docking release system is jammed. Can you help us?
Number 4. Rocky Balboa and Apollo Creed, Rocky 3.
What's the matter with you?
Tomorrow. Let's do it tomorrow.
There is no tomorrow!
These two boxers have been at odds with each other from the beginning of Rocky's career. But when Rocky's trainer Mickey passes away due to a heart attack, the antagonism between them is set aside in favor of training together to make Rocky as strong and skilled as possible so he can knock out his #1 contender, Clubber Lang.
After I crucify him, you next. Just stay out of my face, chump.
A deep friendship is born through these trials and tribulations, and in the end, it leads to Rocky's second heavyweight championship title.
The heavyweight champion of the world, the Italian stallion, Rocky Balboa!
Rocky and Apollo's new bond doesn't stop them from throwing punches at each other from time to time, though. So, while their rivalry was intense, their friendship is even better.
You won by 1 second. You beat me by 1 second. 1 second. That's very hard for a man of my intelligence to handle.
Oh, is it? But didn't you say after I beat you, you learned how to live with it?
I lied.
Oh, you lied.
Number 3. Xavier and Magneto, X-Men Days of Future Past.
You abandoned me! You took her away and you abandoned me!
Though the Brotherhood and X-Men work together in X2 X-Men United to save mutant kind, it's actually X-Men Days of Future Past that takes 3rd place on our list, since it sees Xavier and Magneto teaming up in both the present and the past.
Good to see you too, old friend.
Old wounds are patched, as young Xavier and Magneto join forces to prevent killing machines from nearly destroying all mutants in the future. It's not an easy alliance, though, as Xavier and Magneto's ideas of how to go about saving mutant kind are completely different. But despite a few bumps along the way, they part with respect for one another. Can't they just admit that they love each other already?
Goodbye, old friend.
Goodbye, Eric.
Number 2. Captain James T. Kirk and Khan, Star Trek Into Darkness.
My crew is my family, Kirk. Is there anything you would not do for your family?
In this team-up, Kirk makes a desperate deal with Khan to take on a hostile top-secret Federation starship, the USS Vengeance. They must cooperate to defeat their common enemy, Admiral Marcus, who's hell-bent on starting an intergalactic war between humankind and the Klingons.
You killed them in cold blood.
Marcus took my crew from me. You are a murderer!
But making any deal with Khan, a power-hungry superhuman, is insanely dangerous. And once their common enemy is apprehended, the Alliance disintegrates like mortal flesh in a radioactive reactor chamber. Kirk backstabs Khan, only to have Khan in turn seriously damage the Enterprise.
I thought he was helping us.
Considering their antagonism in the original Star Trek, it is riveting to see these two work together, knowing that they are only using each other.
This indicates that you plan to align with Khan, the very man we were sent here to destroy.
I'm not aligning with him, I'm using him.
Before we unveil our number one pick, here are some honorable mentions.
We'll need a disguise. There's only one uniform. One of us has to go on the other one's shoulders.
I'll fight with none but thee, for I do hate thee. We hate alike.
Blade, meet the Blood Pack. Lighthammer, Verlaine.
Number 1, Clarice Starling and Dr. Hannibal Lecter, The Silence of the Lambs.
Quid pro quo. I tell you things, you tell me things.
In this classic psychological thriller, FBI trainee Clarice Starling seeks the help of Dr. Hannibal Lecter, a cannibalistic serial killer, to capture another killer on the loose, Buffalo Bill.
I'll help you catch him, Clarice.
You know who he is, don't you?
In order to gain Lecter's professional advice, she makes a deal with him to exchange personal information about herself.
You're very frank, Clarice. I think it would be quite something to know you in private life.
They form a strange kind of bond. The kind you can only share with someone who knows about your most traumatizing moments.
What did you see, Clarice? What did you see?
Lambs. They were screaming.
It's just too bad for Clarice that she has this kind of relationship with a killer that she then has to chase to put back in jail after his impressive escape. But it's the twisted nature of their relationship that we just can't get enough of.
Starling.
Well, Clarice, have the lambs stopped screaming?
Do you agree with our list? What's your favorite good guy, bad guy team up?
Well, now, seems just like old times.
For more mind-blowing top 10s published every day, be sure to subscribe to WatchMojo.com.
My God, what's Bond doing?
I think he's attempting re-entry, sir.